It's Wednesday, April 11th, 2012. You've tuned into the 404 Show on CNET TV. I'm Jeff Bacalar.
And I am Justin Yu.
This is the show where bubble is a bad word.
Bubble is a bad word?
Bubble is a bad word.
Really?
According to our good friend and aunt, Jill Schlesinger, on the show today. What's up, Aunt Jill?
It's been a long time.
Round of applause. You
We
got
got-
that in stereo today.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. What's
Even
going
Richard
on?
piped in.
Even
Did you
Richard's
notice
like,
that?
hey, I'm into this
I know.
party.
He's like, yeah, wait a minute. She's all right. I
She's
know
all
her.
right.
He used to sit next to me.
Dude, it's been like what?
Forever.
Month?
Forever.
2 months?
You know, I don't know what happened. We were on that every 3-week schedule.
Yeah.
We
I
gotta go
think
every...
someone broke that.
I may have because of a particular travel incident. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll just go to like an every other thing.
I think we could do something. We'll figure something out.
I thought you
I
had
like
won the lottery or something. You had just quit entirely without telling anybody.
You know, I know. And had I won that lottery, I would be the person who would definitely not show up for work.
Would you invest in the 404, though?
I might take it public. I might take the 404 public. You know, look, all
That
I'm
would be
waiting
amazing.
for is for you guys
Yeah.
to come up with an idea and I can ride on your coattails. That's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
So I read about this whole Instagram nonsense.
Yeah.
Instagram.
And
Instagram. Instagram
And-
3000.
And all I could think about was, why are my guys not hooking me up? I could be employee number 14.
Yeah.
I would be so psyched. These dudes, like, you guys have way better ideas than that.
I don't know if we have better ideas.
Sure.
The thing is that great ideas are everywhere.
I know.
It's putting them into practice and making them work, because no idea that pops in someone's head, the final product never matches up to that.
Yeah.
And Instagram wasn't the first person. They weren't the first company to have this photo sharing idea
Yeah.
either, right?
Yeah.
Like we were
They
talking
just
in the pre-show about Path.
And
Yeah.
and they but Instagram has executed it well.
Right.
But I will point out, as the money person,
Yeah.
there's no revenues.
Right.
Yeah.
Zero. They don't make money.
They haven't made money.
Here's $1 billion. You know what they've made? $1 billion.
They did make $1 billion. Now, we were trying to wrap our heads around this insane number.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Right.
Now, draw something. The people that company OMG Pop, they got bought for $210.
Yep.
It just seems. Is it me? And maybe you can bring us down to reality.
Yeah.
Is it me, or are things being way overvalued?
It feels a little bubblicious, doesn't it?
Then that's
But
why
but
our
here's the
show
thing.
title.
But you know what's so weird about the bubble is there are real companies that do have revenue
Right.
that are inflating the bubble, like
Right.
the evil Facebook empire.
Okay.
Because it's like I feel like they're kids that have piles and piles of money and don't know what to do with it.
All
Now,
right.
I don't want to diss my girl Sheryl Sandberg because I have a girl crush on her.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because she's the only grown up at that company.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay.
know-
is she really the oldest? She
Yeah,
might be.
probably. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
And
By-
she's
by
like
only by-
40.
Yeah, I think she's like 45. I think by like 20 years.
Okay.
But what's interesting is, why would they pay $1 billion for this? Well,
Why?
because they have so much money anyway that's burning a hole in their pocket.
But
And
$1 billion?
I think they said we're paying $500 million for the company, which I
Okay.
think that was the last valuation. They did a deal like 5 minutes before this deal.
Right.
And then they figured, we'll pay $500 million for these two guys because they'll end up being competition with us. So let's get them. Let's buy talent. Let's go out. It's like an NHL contract.
I
It's like,
understand.
let's go get Johnny Tavares. He's awesome. Let's overpay for him. It doesn't matter. We want him, and we don't want someone else to have him.
If someone used hockey to explain all of life's issues, I would be a genius.
That's it. We'd be on it.
I'm saying that's how you should learn math.
That's it. That's right.
All right, I'm sorry to interject.
But so the thing that's so interesting about this deal is it a sign of a bubble that basically Facebook has created or the venture capital guys have created? Or
Okay.
is it a sign that they're being really clever by, 2 million miles, that they're saying, we know what we have in our pipeline. We know what we can do with this. We are going to make a crap load of money. We're going to go public. And everyone thought Google was a bubble.
Right.
And look at it now. I mean, it is, you think about it, it's unbelievable to imagine. And people say Apple's a bubble. Apple, by the way, yesterday did something phenomenal. It broke through $600 billion of market capitalization. Now,
What's that mean?
let me give you that. I was going to define that.
Yeah.
So market capitalization, you take the shares, the number of shares that are outstanding for any company,
Okay.
and you multiply it by its share price.
So
okay?
it would be whatever times 500 or
Right.
something.
Okay. So their market capitalization poked right through $600 billion yesterday.
Oh my God.
Do you know how many other companies have reached that?
2?
One in the United States. A little
Exxon.
little company called Microsoft.
Oh, wow.
In 1999.
Wow. Oh, my God.
So now you start to
That's
say,
more impressive.
right? So
It was $600 billion.
in 1999, briefly.
See, that to me is more impressive
So
because 13 years ago, that money's not worth as much as it is now.
True,
Yeah.
but you also might say, "Uh-oh, that means bubble," right?
Okay.
And so this is the thing about bubbles. You never know. You can keep getting bigger and bigger, but
Right.
these companies are making money. It's a little different than the internet bubble where you had companies that weren't making money. Facebook makes money. Apple makes money. There's
Facebook just started to make money.
right.
Yeah.
But, I think once they go public, it's going to be almost like the shareholders are going to say, you got to make money.
Right.
And Google's making money. So there's a lot of companies that are actually going up in value that are making money. Contrast that with the 90s, the late 90s and early 2000 when you had companies that Pets.com. Remember
Right.
that?
Oh my God.
Remember the sock pet?
That was
right?
the best.
That was awesome. And, they had no money and it was going crazy. Now, I will say, I think there's a bubble in some of these private deals.
Right.
But who cares?
It's
On
their
some
problem.
level, it's their problem. It's not
Right.
our problem, right? And it's only a problem if you're a Facebook shareholder eventually and they keep spending like drunken sailors
Yeah.
with nothing to show for it.
It did seem, I don't want to say irresponsible, but it does seem a little outlandish almost. Just careless.
Yeah, well,
almost.
it seemed like it was just blank you money almost.
Right. Yeah.
I really
guess.
felt like it was like, wow,
But
you couldn't cut a better deal
But
than
I'm
that?
surprised they did it at Instagram and not at Pinterest or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, can you talk to
Because
me about these other things? Because
I
these are the
just-
other companies that are being mentioned, and I don't know anything about them. So you need to educate me a little
So Pinterest, which I probably understand the least out of all these enormous or like insanely popular overnight runaway success stories. Pinterest is a way, and correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, because I know you have an idea about it too.
Okay.
I mean, we all know what it is. It's basically like a virtual bulletin board that
Right.
you're
Yep.
able to share with people and post to and express things in a certain theme that you're into.
Sure.
And that's sort of like the best way I can
Okay.
explain it. Path is kind of like a Facebook timeline, but very detailed and unique to yourself, where it sort of brings in all of these different elements, like a Foursquare element. You can
Right.
sort of check in anywhere.
Well, Path's
you can,
thing also was in the beginning, I think they limited your social circle to 50 users, so you could only share
Okay.
your photos with 50.
Okay.
And then I think in the second update, they updated that to 150.
Okay.
They were advertising themselves as like an anti-photo social network.
Really?
But the thing is like, and you can follow someone's path, so you can
Right.
literally
Oh,
like,
I
they can
see.
say like, oh, I woke up at this time,
Right.
I'm here with these
Oh.
friends, I checked in here, I like this, here's a photo, and it's like this never-ending trail or path. We should start a company called Trail. That's like the next word.
That's right.
And that's sort of what it is.
You know
And,
what's fascinating
it's
about
just
this?
people playing games with themselves and
Yeah.
and convincing them that they're more important than they really are.
Well, that's the thing. Like, who really cares about this? I mean, I'm not. I mean, I guess that if you are a Hollywood star and
Right.
you love this person. Oh, I love Bieber. He's great, and you don't want to
Right.
know everything he's doing. But really, generally speaking, why does anybody care about this? For real, you've got to tell me because I can barely even imagine why people care about things on Facebook. They mostly don't, But I'm just saying that, why do we need that instant, almost like update and dialogue of life?
I think that was the core of why Facebook became so popular. Is that people? I think a driving force of it is one, people just they want to lurk and they want to get laid.
Nice.
It's true. Like
Yep.
they want to get closer to someone who they can have and sort of create relationships with people and just sort of plant seeds and do what they got to do. I think at the crux of it,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Right.
And then a lot of it is also, don't get me wrong, there's other amazing things that have sort of evolved out of Facebook with, people getting to share their likes and dislikes and opinions and
See my face? Look at my face.
I know
I
you
think
made,
that's the
you made the
problem with
Renee
Facebook.
Zellweger
Exactly.
face.
What do I
There's too
care?
many different silos
Right.
on Facebook.
I agree with
People are
that.
sharing their location, what they're listening to, the news articles
Also, I
they're
think it's
reading.
so dangerous.
No
I
one
have to
cares
say,
about
as
that
the nervous, Nelly here, the paranoid Jewess, I
Yeah.
would like to say that, I don't really want my nieces and my nephews doing anything like that that where people know where they are.
Right.
I
Yeah.
completely read them the riot act about security on Facebook. I'm
Sure.
like, don't you be careful about what you're writing, and you're applying to college now, and your
Right.
college can do, because it's dangerous. Number one,
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of crazy wackadoodles out there.
And I think
There
that's the
are.
reason why people are sort of upset and threatening to leave Instagram now that Facebook's bought them, because they're worried that their
Oh.
location information that they put
Right.
through geotags on Instagram,
Yeah.
that's going to get sold to Facebook advertisers
Yeah.
about them.
And
Whereas before, when they were just a startup, it was like a very much a user company
Right.
relationship. Now there's an advertiser being involved in it.
And you got to imagine that's got to be the driving force. I mean, at the end of the day, we could say, oh, they threw $1 billion at Instagram like
Right.
morons, but there's a method
They're
to the
buying
madness.
user
They're
base.
buying,
Yeah.
and they're buying information about people.
well, it's 27 million users. It's not like, how many does Facebook have? What, 800 million now,
I
or
think
900
they're
million?
almost at 850.
Oh my
yeah.
God!
It's crazy. It's going to be 1 in 6 people on Earth, basically.
Yeah.
And how many people? I mean, how many people really use it? Because there are people who have Facebook pages that don't look at them.
Right.
How many active users do you think there are?
I don't know. I think they claim the active is like kind of close to that.
Really.
Right?
I think so.
I don't know.
Has anyone here? Let's just do an update since the whole Facebook IPO story. Anyone clicked on an ad recently on Facebook?
I've still to this
No.
day
Not-
never clicked on
No,
one.
I
on
think we should
purpose.
go to our graves saying we will only by mistake.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah, you
click
can't-
that thing.
And then
Sorry.
immediately close it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then been like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Now my latest rant of this day is about LinkedIn.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's
Why did I do that? Because somebody
Why did I do
is
that?
so stupid of me.
It is silly.
And I know every single career person has said that we interview on the show. Look, there's a terrible jobs crisis. I don't want to underestimate this. We have 12.7 million people that are out of work. We are. So it's such a horrible thing in this economy to have that, right? You guys know people that are out of work. I know
Sure,
people who are out of
sure.
work. And so this is probably a really good thing to connect. I am immediately repulsed by the whole concept because I'm an old-time networker. So I pick up the phone and I schmooze and I take people out to lunch.
You literally rub elbows.
I rub give me your elbow.
Well, it's far away.
Richard, give me your elbow.
You
I need
literally
your
rub
Rub
elbows.
it. There you go.
You literally rub elbows
yeah.
because let's be. That was pretty hot.
It was beautiful.
You gotta admit though that so if the core driving force behind Facebook is sex,
Yeah.
the core driving behind LinkedIn is money.
Yeah. Well, or jobs. Let's just say jobs.
Okay, but that's to me
it's-
that's money.
But the thing that's weird about it is all these weirdo people that come out of the woodwork. And you know what? By the way, let me just say that I did a little bit of surfing on LinkedIn before I realized that when you go look at someone's profile, they know it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that either.
Hello.
Shut up.
I did a very bad thing, and I
Oh,
had to I
crap.
was like, oh no.
Wait a minute. It shows other people when you're lurking on
Yes.
their profile?
Wait,
Yes, it
it's like
does.
J-date.
Yes,
What the hell
it says
is that?
this person has looked at your profile. And so I made that
That is
mistake
not
exactly
cool.
one time, ladies and gentlemen, where I went and I did something bad. I looked at somebody. I was like, that was so stupid. I shouldn't have done that.
What
but I
the-
learned my
this
lesson.
is turning my
Right.
world upside
Is it
down.
Because
not-
then
right
if you
now.
look at their page but don't add them as a contact,
It still tells you.
oh my God, that's not right.
Isn't that crazy?
So,
Very
I want to
passive-aggressive.
curse.
I'm hoping. Maybe I am wrong. I'm hoping
I
that
hope
I'm wrong.
you're
Can you
wrong.
ask the chat room
think
to
you're
figure
right.
that? I'm
Is
right,
Chat-
aren't I? I think I am
Richard's
right.
Oh
like
my
I've
God.
been. Richard's like I've been holding this secret for a while.
I mean, but that is so crazy, isn't
Right.
it? And so
Damn it.
that's immediately I was like, first of all, it becomes a little bit obsessive compulsive because you're like, who's looking at me,
yeah.
right?
No, I don't like that
Then-
at all.
And then I made this one mistake, and I'm so bummed out. You know what was so bad about it? I went and looked at somebody that my significant other used to date. That is the worst.
bad.
That is so bad.
That's really
I love
bad.
that.
That was such a stalking weak moment.
Oh
my
my
God.
You showed your colors right there.
I
man.
know. I mean, is that bad? Or
You're not
what?
the
Bad.
only one that's done that, though. Most people just take it on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah,
That's where you-
well-
LinkedIn
Jill, that's
profile.
where you should have done.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
But-
Richard knew.
Richard, you held back this
sorry.
information.
Son
of a
Anyway, I did
gun.
it that one time, and now it's like she knows that I've looked at her. Oh,
Is having an active LinkedIn profile the same as maintaining an online dating profile when you're in a relationship? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
is it
that's
kind of weird to
interesting.
current employers to see that you have a LinkedIn profile that you keep updating?
Well, I think that it could be. I think that the thing that's a little bit weird about it
It's
is
like you're shopping yourself out while you
Exactly.
already have a job.
That's
Is that
exactly
betrayal?
right.
But I also think at the same time, so is your boss. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like everyone's
that's true.
doing
Everybody's
it.
on it. I think in the beginning it was a little bit more like,
he's
Joe
on
Schmoes.
LinkedIn?
And you have to be
Right.
very careful about what you put on LinkedIn,
Right.
especially if you are employed.
Right.
But I cannot tell you the number of people who came out of the woodwork. And also, by the way, I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I'm on LinkedIn. I thought it was like Twitter. I'm like, I got to get a bunch of people in my circles. Now I'm like, take that damn thing down.
Yeah,
It's a
seriously.
waste of freaking time.
Oh my God.
I mean, I really may deactivate the account. How many people who are talent do you think actually have been found, got new jobs on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I don't think the new
Probably not
host
many.
of XYZ
Yeah,
show.
like, oh, Charlie Rose. Oh, well, let's get
Oh,
him.
we
He's
found him. We
let's
found
get
him.
him on LinkedIn. That's it. Oprah's on LinkedIn. Great.
Yeah, it's almost you're almost sort of selling yourself short by being on there.
Right?
Yeah.
I might have
All
to.
right.
It feels dirty too
Delete.
because you have to leave
Delete.
testimonials for other people in order
Yeah.
to get testimonials on your page.
It's like I said, it's cheapening the whole networking, illegitimizing it.
yeah. Whoring. You could say it.
Not whoring.
It is a little bit, isn't
The
it? And I'm
thing
a
is
whore,
that
but my God.
schmoozing, and that sort of talent of doing that and being personable and sociable is something that should not be, taken less seriously just by throwing it all on.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of an interesting thing. I mean, I know people have probably gotten connections through that, through
Yeah.
LinkedIn, but I also wonder, like, really, who gets a job that way? I'll tell you how people get a job. My friend Eddie calls me up one day and he says, I got this younger guy. He's a friend of mine. He's in his, 32 years old. He's been in financial services. Kid's struggling. You got to talk to him.
Yeah.
I go take the kid out to lunch because he's a friend of my friend.
Another lunch you're picking up. You're unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's right. I'm going to get paid back in spades for this one, though.
Right.
And I'm going to heaven. I'm going to employment heaven.
Yeah.
Take the kid out for lunch. We're chatting. He's so nice. And he's just, he's working at a big company. He's going nowhere, right?
Sure.
Okay.
But he's hard working. He's smart.
Okay.
So I call him. I come out of lunch. I call my friend Michael. I say, hey, Michael. He owns a financial services company. He said, you looking for anybody? He goes, yeah, actually, I'm interviewing right now.
Oh, yeah.
I send the kid over there. 2 months later, kids started working this week there.
It's who you know.
It's like and
that was
personal,
off LinkedIn.
Yeah,
That was
that was
offline.
not
Offline.
LinkedIn.
Right.
Like
yeah.
that, how's that kid going to get that job?
Right.
It's got to be a personal connection.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a job, I will say this. Really work that network and don't
You
just work
do.
at an electronic network. Like talk to people and don't ask people for stuff. Give them stuff.
Right. I feel like people, when they hear the word networking,
They
and
barf.
not that they barf, because I do hate the word.
Yeah.
But it's not transparent enough. It's not what it means. Networking is not networking as when you first hear. Like when I was in college, they were like, you got to network. No, that means getting drunk with people.
Right, which is also
And
great.
It's true. And making friends with people.
That's right, and
hopefully,
being nice
and
and
that.
doing nice things for people
Exactly.
who may do nice things
and
for
not
you.
burning any bridges
Do
is
not,
what it means.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Because
so, like that guy from Goldman Sachs who wrote the op-ed.
There you
like,
go.
I would never hire that guy.
No.
Even if he was right about every
I don't
single
think he
thing
needs
said.
to work though.
Why? He
right?
sold a book for $1 million. Who's going to buy that dumb book?
Well, I
Who
don't-
cares?
Well, he already sold. He sold it though.
yeah,
He
but it's
gets
$1
that
million.
money, right?
It's not enough to do anything.
It's not. Speaking of $1 million,
Yeah,
we
there's
talked
not-
about the Powerball thing.
Yeah.
And you wrote a very interesting piece on what to do. Was it when you win the lottery? Because you are
Justin,
going
I can't
to.
remember what my headline
What to do
was.
if you win.
Okay,
if you
thank
win.
God.
Which it should have been when.
When
because-
you win. That's right, because you are going to
because
win.
You are going to win.
So this was the most fun thing to write because when I was an investment advisor, I had a client who won the lottery.
Yeah.
So it was amazing.
But how much did they win?
Well, let me just give you the preface of this.
Okay.
So it wasn't my client. Guy comes in with his wife, and he's going to interview me. And
Yeah.
he just, hey, I heard you on the radio,
Right.
and I want to come hire your firm.
That's how I find right.
But seriously, that's
No,
how we
that's
got a
good.
ton of business,
Sure.
right? He comes in, we have a whole conversation, telling me about what is going on. They've got
Yeah.
kids, college education, maybe we need more insurance. Very low key,
Yeah.
lovely.
And then did he break it out?
Then at the end of the conversation, I said, so do you have any other questions for me? And I just explained. I said, here's how we would go forward if you want us
Right.
to work. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. You could do this for yourself. I said, you don't need me to do this. He says, one more thing.
Mm.
He says, we're coming into a little bit of money.
A little.
I said, really? How? Like what? I said, I'm sorry, did someone pass away? He goes, actually, my wife won the lottery.
Oh my God.
I said, really? How much? The lottery was for $80 million. And their lump sum after tax, they had $23 million.
That's it?
Well,
What?
because when you see 640,
No, I
even,
know it's not 640.
So it's basically that's if you took the stream of payments over a
Right.
certain period, but you can also get a lump sum.
Right, so the lump sum
is less.
So for the 640, it was something like what, 5?
I think it was no, it was less.
4?
It was 4. It was
Okay.
like say high threes actually.
And then they basically
you-
take 50% of that.
yeah,
Oh,
then,
all
so
right.
you got to pay taxes. So
Okay.
so my client, so this process. I was shocked.
Right. So they took
Okay.
in, it was what, 20? You said?
23 million.
23.
Okay. So I say in that great moment of honesty, get the blank out of here. You
Yeah.
won the lottery.
Yeah, it's
and so
amazing.
You're like,
they-
my rates just went up.
No,
Yes.
I was really nice. And the guy said to me, I interviewed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And this has been a great test for us because we hold back the information. We see how people react to us as if we were just
course.
regular people.
Of course.
And then we tell them this.
Yeah.
And they told me how many people they had interviewed and they're not working with. And then they said, okay, we're going to work with you. We're going to give you all our money.
Amazing.
And I said, okay, you're not going to do that. That's crazy. You can't
Yeah.
give $23 million to one advisor. I said, I'm going to call up this guy. He's a really good friend of mine. You're going to give him money. You're going to give me money. You're going to give another guy money. You're going to
And they
like
did
split
that.
it up. And that's what they did.
That's smart.
And
that's crazy.
So then I used that as the basis of writing this because I learned a lot from them and kind of the whole experience. It was
Right.
crazy.
Huh.
When
Crazy.
you so people who won this last one,
Yeah.
they came into hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, it'll be
Well, so-
split up, right?
right.
Because there's
Oh,
like
that's right.
one
Three
winning ticket,
people.
3 people in one, and then a couple people in
So-
another. But let's just say that for all intents and purposes, let's just pretend they each got $100 million.
Oh, that's just
Like 6 people got $100 million
Yeah.
each, right? And then they have to ask the question, do I take a stream of income? Do I take a certain amount of money every year?
right.
Or do I take a lump sum?
Mm,
Now, the good news is if you take a lump sum, you've got the money,
right.
right? That's cool.
I feel like that's what you should do.
Well, financially, it makes better sense.
Just because who knows how long we live and who knows
Well,
how...
it's a 20, it was a, for this particular lottery, it's 26
so they
years.
did an annuity.
So, my clients?
Yeah.
No, my clients
They
took a
took the
lump
cash.
sum.
Okay,
They
okay.
took the lump sum and paid their taxes.
Right.
Now, the problem is when you have a lump sum, you can
Yeah.
blow it.
Right.
And so there's all this research about lotteries that lottery winners are broke within like 5 years.
but
Oh my
does
God.
that mean doesn't that just mean that lottery winners are stupid?
no,
I think that's what that means. Like stupid people win the lottery.
no, but it could
Because you
mean,
see those shows on TLC and it's like the lottery ruined my life.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they. Well, first of all,
'cause you-
you go crazy.
Right,
It's insanity, right?
Yeah,
And
you
so,
bought the Texas Rangers. Like,
right,
you
right.
do
Isn't
stuff
that
like
awesome?
that.
Or
you
you're
know?
like, oh yeah, I really thought it was a great idea to open a laundromats
Yeah.
with my gangster cousin.
right,
Fantastic
exactly,
idea.
yeah.
That's great.
I gave him $1 million.
So sometimes the stream of income is a really cool thing. You say,
It's the
hey,
pr-
I never have to think about it.
Right, but for people who are not stupid,
For people who are not stupid, it is probably better financially to have control of the money, but then you've got control of the money and you've got to invest it and you've got to hire people to manage your money and
Right.
you've got to really go through and decide how you're going to live your life. And
Right.
it's very intense. It was
Sounds
intense
like
to
it.
watch these people go through it and see the decisions they made.
Mm.
Now, I would not be one of those people who would go to work the next day, but I think having a job is a very good idea. Even if
even
you
if
come
you want $100 million.
even if you said, you know what, I want $100 million. Let's just play this out. I got $100 million, and then after lump sum after taxes, I ended up with $30 million.
Man, is that real? Like you're losing 70%? Is that real?
It's probably pretty close.
Really?
Yeah, because if you got $100 million and then you took the lump sum, which is probably 60, and then you pay your taxes, it's 30, depending on where you
Okay,
live.
because
Right?
I thought 100 was after after the
no.
lump sum.
So I was just
fee.
saying
Yeah.
6 people win
Okay.
$100 million.
Right,
each,
all right.
right?
Yes, that makes sense.
So now you have $30 million, which is pretty awesome. And so maybe what you would say is, I'm going to take $20 million and I'm going to invest that for the rest of my life. I'm set.
And you could do that safely, and
without
and
going
get
crazy.
a lot
right?
of money.
Yeah, and
never
you
worry
live your
about
life.
it. Right.
And now you're going to say, well, $5 million I'm going to blow. I'm just because you know you're going to blow it.
I feel like
so,
it's tough to blow $5
Oh
million.
no, it's not.
Well,
Why?
you buy like a house. If you
You
buy
a house,
okay, and
right?
that's
You
it,
could buy.
yeah.
You could be like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy an apartment in the city,
Right.
and a house in the Jersey Shore.
Sure.
Done.
Done.
You're
$5
like,
million bucks.
you could
You could blow
easily-
$5 million on one place in the
Exactly.
city.
Or,
Yeah.
whatever. So you get, but let's just say you imagine you're going to blow some amount of money.
Right.
Then wouldn't it be cool if you said, okay, the other $5 million, I'm going to start my own personal foundation. I'm going to give money away. I'm going to work really hard at this. That's going to be my job.
Yeah.
That's my job. I'm going to like be really, that'd be cool to me.
I would continue to come to work and see how long it takes to get fired.
Really?
Because
That
I
would be awesome.
Because I would be like, I have $30 million sitting in the bank. I'm
Wait
going
a
to
minute,
continue to
but-
collect
yeah,
my
what would you
meager
do
paycheck.
at work?
I would just like not do anything.
But maybe
I would
what
just
you,
sit
but
back
maybe
and
what,
chill.
But maybe what you would do is you'd say, okay, I got $20 million. It's in the bank. It's
yeah,
cool.
it's cool.
And I'm going to spend a couple million,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to take $3 million. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to
Sure.
build my own beautiful podcast studio.
Right.
Justin, I got to pay him a salary. Richard, I got to pay his salary. Jill,
course.
of course, has to get a bigger
She'll get a
salary.
little slice. She'll get a slice of
much
the
bigger.
pie.
And you start saying like, I'm going to run a business.
Yeah.
And you allocate some money to do that. You do something that you're really passionate about.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be too young, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, you would be.
You'd be bored really quickly.
You would be.
I don't know.
You'd be like buying. You know what he would do? He'd be like, "I'm buying the Jersey Devils farm team. Who's
No.
their farm team?
The Albany River Rats.
Yeah, you'd be a river rat.
I wouldn't buy them.
Why not?
I would try. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I would just give money to the NHL and be like, just take care of me the rest of my life.
Well, you could buy. One of the things I put at the end of the blog post is that in the very beginning you want to blow some money, but you want to buy a very small amount. Right.
Yeah.
So I said, you got to keep your first splurge under $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then, so now I put some ideas up for people. Like
Your first splurge under $100,000. Let's go around the room.
Right. So you'll see in mine. So Justin, you have it up there at the very bottom.
Yes.
So I say things like, to me, I thought like these. I was working with a bunch of guys up at CBSNews.com. We all picked one. So I picked which you would imagine is. I said I wanted a fully outfitted Mini Cooper. Like it was just a fun,
really?
right?
30
just
grand.
just like
That's
30,
cheap.
35 grand, just a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Then somebody said, I want tickets to all the premier sporting events for the year.
That's
That's
a nice
good one.
I like that.
What else is up there? Let me see what was
You have
Alan's?
weekly massages for two
Oh,
for a
wait,
year.
That was Alan's. That was a good
That's
one.
pretty
I
good.
thought that
That's
was a good
10
one.
grand. An African safari for the entire family of four,
I like
50
that one.
grand.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So
That's a lot of money.
right?
To just
So
for a
now-
family of
but
four.
you know what I'm saying? Like a fun splurge.
Yep.
You have money. You're not
Yeah.
going to make it a crazy. You're not going to buy a house with this. But
I
what's
don't
your
think
first?
100 grand is enough for a
That's-
first splurge.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what do you
want
want to do
Well,
for?
when you say 100 grand, you think a car. Like
Well, you could do a car.
a car.
But to
No, I
me,
wouldn't
like,
do that.
I mean, there's a lot. One guy said, "Oh, I want to." Blah blah. First he said a Ferrari. I'm like, sorry, 300 grand.
Yeah,
Can't do
that's
it.
it.
So
I think I would recreate my own personal amazing arcade. Like I
Really?
would buy like
you were a child. I
pinball-
love that
I would buy
about you. I do
pinball
love
machines.
that about you.
I'd buy like really
Okay.
rare pinball
Right.
machines and
Yeah.
stuff like, and I would
That's
have
cool.
that.
You would have a man cave like no other.
But where would you build that? Wouldn't you want to buy a house first and then make a room?
No,
Well,
this is his
that's-
first thing. He
this
put
is-
you
yeah. Just
buy
put it
the
in his
pinball
parents'
I'll
house.
have that. I'll
Okay.
put that in storage until, and then my big thing would be like a ridiculous penthouse in Manhattan.
Yeah.
like
Really?
like 5,000 square feet. Like
Nice.
like ridiculous.
See, I would not move out of my apartment. I really wouldn't. I might buy like I
well,
might
that means
buy,
your apartment now
That
is
means you don't live in my
banging.
apartment.
You
No,
have
but
a
I'm just
sick
saying. I
place
know. I
now.
really don't. But it's just like that wouldn't be the thing I would want to
You
do.
got to invite me over. I'll tell you whether or not you have a sick
All right,
place.
that's fine.
So what would
about-
yours be?
You got some a souped up Mini
souped up
Cooper
Mini Cooper.
that's a convertible that's
All
fun
right.
and all that. Very
Justin?
lame.
I would take myself and two of my friends on a trip to France, and we would ride the route of the Tour de France.
That's
Oh,
cool.
Like
that
a
is
couple
so
of brand new
cool.
bikes and like
That's
custom
cool.
kits for that trip. Oh, it'd be
Sick.
great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
See,
Sick.
I think those are great. I think experiences. If there's all this research, it's called behavioral finance.
Yeah.
It's so crazy and interesting. It's like the intersection of economics and psychology.
Yeah.
And this guy Dan Ariely has done amazing research, and he says, "Here's the deal: when you spend money on an experience like that, it is you sort of get a better bang for your buck than buying your
material?
game rate,
Yeah.
your car, or your this
Yeah.
or that. But like the experience of doing these things has a longer lasting positive effect. I'm telling you, that's
I understand. It's an intangible
Yeah,
sort
that's why
of
people
and it
psychology.
stays with you, right?
I
It
understand
stays
that.
with you.
I understand.
And so, what is
yeah,
Richard?
what
What
would
are you
you
gonna
do?
do, man?
What would you do?
Well, the first thing I thought was like buy a sports car, but like you said, that if I get a Ferrari or something, that's like 300,000.
Yeah.
First of all,
So-
by the way, does he have the greatest voice?
He does have a
Holy
very
crap.
soothing
Oh my
voice.
you.
God!
Oh, whoa.
I feel like I'm on Jazz After Hours.
There you
How
are.
are you?
It's
Okay.
the quiet storm.
Excellent.
What would you buy?
So maybe I'd do like a trip around the world, like just take like the rest of the year just to travel
Yeah.
to like every country.
That'd be sick.
possible.
That would be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
I think it would be really awesome to like. I the first thing I thought of when of course we were talking about when we win,
Yeah,
at home, and
'cause
I
it's gonna
said,
happen.
That's going to happen. I said, you know what I would do because especially the timing. I'm like, I would take 2 months off and rent a villa in Tuscany, chill out for 2 months,
Nice.
That sounds
and like
awesome.
eat pasta
Every
Crazy.
day. Yeah.
Whatever. Get a cook. Get
Yeah.
it made. Right.
I would do like the personal trainer
That would be
sort
great.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I would definitely do that.
All right, what if you have all this money? Then what's the one service person you want? Like Oprah has like a trainer, a cook, a that. So
the
who do
cook's
you
got to
want?
be up there.
I think a
Yeah,
cook is
cook.
awesome.
the cook,
Yeah.
just because
Personal shopper, maybe.
I could do that for you.
Personal
or
shopper.
just
I'll
like
hire you to
a
do that.
straight up manager to take care of your daily day-to-day BS.
Yeah.
Because when you got a lot of money, there are a lot of
A
problems.
butler. You want a butler.
You-
I want
Oh, I
some
like a
sort of like
butler.
daily manager.
Right.
I like a cook. I think.
You know?
I think,
Cook
but
would
the
be
cook
nice.
has to go shopping for you because,
Oh,
as
of
you know, in
course.
New York, it's like the biggest pain in the neck.
Right,
Really, like
of course.
ugh.
I
So
want an
I-
intern. That would pretty much do all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Wait a minute.
An intern's
Why
a
don't
good
you guys
idea.
get an intern?
Oh, yeah.
well,
So
we have to pay them,
Can
though.
you, I think we have to pay them
Yeah,
now.
but it comes from CBSI. It doesn't come from you.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. We have a budget of $0.
It's
No,
video,
we're kidding.
video.
It's video. Here
Would you
at
continue to do
CBSI.
the 404?
F yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
You're
Yeah,
gonna
it's gonna
look
be
me in
the
the eye and
private-
lie to
No,
me
I
like
would-
this.
I
Wait a
would
second.
do-
CBS would own the 404. We have to change the name and start our own.
That'd be fine.
Or we could buy the 404 from CBS for
Sure.
a cool $2.
and then we find
$2.50.
$2.
Yeah.
It
I
would
like
happen like that. All right. Should we take a break? You want to
Yeah,
take a break? All right. When we come back, some questions will get asked and Jill will answer.
Yes.
Stick around. There's a lot more 404 right after this.
This is the 404 MRFers, the show where we all sing songs.
Yes, payday. Millions of dollars pouring into the hands of the American worker. Now, in the mind of the average worker live two separate personalities. One, the thrifty.
Wait a bit, laddie. You're going to save a bit of that, aren't you?
Oftentimes, idle money burns a hole in your pocket, which brings out the other personality. The spendthrift.
Hi, big shot. Come on with me. I'll show you how to spend your dough. I got a couple of good beats.
But, laddie, I've got some better dates. Important ones, too. When every American should pay his or her income tax gladly and proudly. This year, thanks to Hitler and Hirohito, taxes are higher than ever before. Will you have enough money on hand to meet your payments when they fall due?
We'll take care of that later. Forget it.
But you don't want to forget our fighting men, do you? Then you'll have to start saving right away to meet your tax payments.
Listen, chum. Spend it. It's your dough.
Aye, laddie. It's your dough. But it's your war, too. You must save for victory.
Welcome back to the 404 show. That was some interesting.
Is that cool?
So explain, what was that?
so
What-
the IRS, the
Yeah.
Internal Revenue Service, basically got Disney to create this cartoon to
Right.
explain to people why they should pay their income taxes. Because we really hadn't had a big, broad-based tax system that was enacted until after World War II. We had all these debts to pay because we
Right.
spent all this money. And you hear these references like Hitler and
Yeah,
Mussolini.
they're like, because of
'cause,
Hitler, we
this
have
is
to
what
pay
we're doing.
taxes now.
And so there was this kind of, it was like a wild, almost like a propaganda
Yeah.
tool, and was used throughout the country.
It's amazing.
Like on
So this is
television.
1943.
1943.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
it was a really kind of a cool campaign. And so it just makes me laugh because it does explain like the rationale behind income taxes.
Don't act like you were alive when that first came out.
And
That's
I
how you
remember it
referred
well.
to it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, but it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. And it was, yeah, sure, it's propaganda. Okay.
Right.
Totally is.
Sure.
But effective propaganda,
No,
I might
absolutely.
add.
Yeah.
All right. So.
I want to get to a couple questions. First, I got a few sent to me directly. I just want to relay this to you.
Okay.
Do you ever hear of a place called Mint online?
Yes, mint.com.
What do you think of Mint? Is that can you trust them?
Yes.
Do you like what
yes.
they do?
Mint.com is like, there's lots of different ways you can track how your money is spent.
Right.
Justin, didn't you use Mint
I have
for a
been
while?
using
and
Mint,
it's
yeah.
been all right for
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
right?
it's been great.
So
Is it cost money to use?
Nope,
it's
it's
free. There's
completely
also
free.
an iPhone app
What?
as well. I use it every time I make a purchase, like anything bigger than like $2.
It's
So-
like a way to track how you
Track your
spend money.
spending.
And,
And
it's great.
It taps into your bank accounts.
It can, right? It doesn't
And
have
you-
to.
But you don't have to. If you want to
Right.
use it just as a spreadsheet, you can do
Right.
that.
Right.
Actually, Jill had a great idea for me to create my own, so I've been using that in conjunction with Mint. Boom.
This
Look
is
at
when
you.
that
You guys
girl is
are-
going to accuse me of flirting with you.
Yeah,
that's
right.
exactly
Seriously.
what this is.
Whoever
Don't rub
she
that
is.
nose with me.
So Mint taps into your
It
finances
can,
and it
it's a way
monitors
to
and gives you
control your
reports.
exactly.
Right.
Great way to control how you spend or
Spending.
keep track of it.
I'm a little hesitant to recommend it to people just because, they're getting your information. What are they doing
Well,
with it? How do they make money?
They sell advertising,
Yeah,
actually.
that's it.
But I would not be concerned with that.
All right.
I think it's a
So,
good. I think it's mint.com.
Mint gets the seal of
Mint.
Jill approval.
Yes. What else you got for me?
How does Jill manage her personal finances?
She spends like a reckless sailor.
Because you give a lot of advice.
Yeah.
I think people just want to know
Want to know
more
what I
about
do?
you.
So what I do is I kick it old school. I have spreadsheets that I keep track of spending.
Okay.
I don't keep now. I've been doing this, this many years of being an adult in the workforce.
Jill's like, I keep it all up in the head, actually.
I have what I do is I try to sort of use an annualized number,
Right.
and we sit down and we say, here's what we got. These are our fixed expenses.
Yeah.
These are our fun things that we do. This is our overhead. This is our monthly nut. These are the things we like to do.
Right.
And we talk about, we got this, this kind of vacation, or
Sure.
we could do this, that, and the other thing, and we make decisions about that ahead of time. And then with my investments, I manage my own money, and I use index mutual funds or exchange traded funds. Very boring, plain vanilla. I'm not a stock picker, and I have a boring diversified portfolio. And I really do.
I have a boring.
I really do. It's like I really do practice what I preach, only because it's easier.
Right.
And I'm really, when I look at the world, I think of like, what are the ways we can do stupid things to ourselves, and I try to take those things out of my life.
Right.
So if you take those things out of your life, you pretty much stay out of trouble.
Okay.
And that's it. And that's kind of what I do. And I make sure that I have, wills, and I have some disability insurance, because if you lose your voice in our job, it's a bad thing, and
Right.
things like that, and kind of rock and roll from there. So, of course, I could sort of manage my life better if I were just on my own and I didn't have to rely on CBS. That's why I need more Twitter followers.
Because apparently you can just cash that in at the end of the day.
Exactly. So that's kind of my game plan.
I'm always, when you talk about investments, I'm always blown away by the guys who got in early on. Where's this one dude? I think his last name is Anderson.
Yeah.
He got in early on Instagram, Twitter.
He's a venture capitalist.
Right, he's a VC, but he just sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah,
it's
but
unbelievable.
the one thing is you don't hear about with a VC is that they usually have about 7 deals that don't work out that way, and 3 that do.
Right,
and so,
Steve Anderson
right?
is his name.
So, and so that's the thing you have to remember. It's with like anything else. And there's huge risk, right? So there's upside, there's downside. And for my point of view, you know what? There's nothing that says that you're going to pick a portfolio of stocks that is diversified and be able to like hit it out of the park.
Right.
So most managers don't do that, and so that's why we use diversified portfolios. If you want to have a little fun money, my sister was telling me the story about a guy we know, and she's like, he's got $5 million of Apple stock, and it's all his entire net worth is in Apple stock.
Oh my God.
Now I just couldn't sleep like that. It's been an awesome investment for him, right? I
Yeah,
could not sleep. It would freak me out.
Your whole livelihood is just not hanging by a thread. I mean, the thread's pretty
It's strong, but like, when you think about it and you think, well, okay, so Microsoft was really strong in 1999, and now a dozen years later it doesn't look so good.
No, but I still think that Microsoft has a solid foundation.
It has a great foundation. All I'm saying is that, you could see your net worth sliced in half for
of course.
no good reason.
Yeah. Overnight almost.
Yeah,
maybe.
so I would always say to people, if you've got all this money in one stock, I talk to guys here all the time. They own CBS stock, like higher ups, and they have so much of it. And they say it's been great. We rode it up from $4 to $30. I said that's great, but you actually had to take the ride down from $30 to $4.
Right.
And who was happy during that time? That was not a pretty time here.
Sure.
So I can't bear that. I'm too much of a wimp.
All right.
I couldn't do
You
it.
play it safe.
That's me.
I like that. All right, get to some questions. Let's hear it.
Christopher says that he got the runaround from different department stores. He was approved by a Bank of America student credit card, $700 credit line, 4.25% APR. Is this similar to an interest rate? Yes, it is.
Wait. You blew that right by me.
He's got a credit line.
Okay.
14.25%
right.
APR, which is the interest rate.
What was he getting a runaround about?
He just said he took a long time to get the card.
Okay, gotcha.
Now he wants to know: does it get charged every month? Yes.
Yeah.
You get it every month. It's not 14.25% every month. It's an annualized rate of 14.25%. He says he's 19. It's his first credit card. He's scared to use it. I love
he
that.
has a credit card. He doesn't even want
I
to use it.
understand that.
So
though.
I said to him this.
Wrap it in duct tape.
Well,
Pay your bills.
Use it and pay your bills.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I get really nervous about is that people start saying, I'll never use credit, I'll only use a debit card. But that's a problem because, as you know, when you go buy a house, you need to have a credit history.
Right, of course.
A debit card does not give you a credit history.
No, a debit card is a debit card. It's pulling money out of your bank account.
It's like using your money.
Right.
So I would be very, very careful about
I used
that.
to think debit cards were God's gift. I was
Yep.
like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Right.
All my money's on
Yep.
this thing of plastic. No, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use my
never
credit
use a
card
de-
for things that I know that I have to pay that I can't live without, like electricity, for
Yeah,
example, my
and-
cell phone.
and
I'm
you-
always going to pay for those things.
And you know what? And you always make sure you have the money to pay for them. And you
Yeah.
never blow off a credit card payment,
Sure.
ever.
Yeah.
Joe wants to know, he says he's got a niece who lives in Japan and is a Japanese national. 2 college funds via a 529 plan. If you are going to save for college, 529 plans are great. The problem is that the 529 plan is not available to those outside of the U.S.
Oh.
So how do I save money for college with the best benefits? And I would say this, Joe, that you can set up something called an UGMA, a Uniform Gift to Minors Act, or an UTMA, Uniform Trust to Minors Act. You can set up accounts like that, but what may really be the easiest thing is to just set up a separate account, a joint, either in your name or probably just in your name is better, and keep it simple and use index funds and don't create a tax liability. Joe says, you rock. I truly enjoy your visits on the 404. Insightful for me and valuable for those just starting their financial journeys.
Oh, that's so nice of him.
Simply Brian says he's been working for 3 years. He's unable to control my expenses and cannot save much.
What does that mean? He has no willpower?
I guess. For
Yeah.
someone with this problem, what is your financial advice? I know I can save, but maybe it's I don't know where to invest or what to do. Help me. You know what, Brian? I think this is like a diet. It really is. Talk about willpower. So what you want to do is you want to start automating things. The reason you can't save is because you're waiting. You're basically saying, oh, I have $1,000. I live my life. And at the end of the day, I hope I save something. Don't do that. That's one of the ways I love, one of the reasons I love a 401k. You set up that saving
And it just does it
automatically.
by itself,
And it does
yeah.
it by itself. If you don't have a 401k, set up an account at Vanguard or Fidelity or T. Rowe Price.
Is it are you being dishonest with yourself when you say that that's you saving money? You know
No,
what I mean?
that's you saving money.
Oh,
That is you
401
saving
is
money.
legitimately saving money.
Absolutely. And now if
That's
you
good
don't
to
if you
know.
don't have a 401k,
Yeah.
maybe you're working for yourself or doing a little bit piecemeal work here or
Right.
there, you will open up an account, you go to Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, you open up an account and you say to them, every month suck $100 a month out of my checking account or savings account, and then it will happen automatically.
Right.
You'll create your own
Yeah.
plan. And that's the way. If you automate things, it's way better. And by the way, it's harder to do things that aren't automated, no matter what.
Can I read one from Twitter?
No, do it.
At your buddy Jeff wrote, that's weird. It's not me. He wrote, hey 404 and Aunt Jill, I'm wondering, is there a way I can lower my student loans if I myself am an educator?
That's interesting.
I teach college, been out 6 years.
Okay. That's
Is that something?
yeah, that is something. So I got a question from Rudy about loan consolidation, and so let me just talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
This guy Rudy says to me, he says, is it possible that these loan service consolidation companies are for real? And that, yes, if it's offered through the government, okay?
Right.
And so, yes, it is true. The problem is about, loan consolidation is that for some people, the amount you pay every month may actually rise.
Yeah.
So you've really got to check the numbers. The other thing that I would say is that in this case, this guy said, he's having a hard time about references and who he gives and this, that, and the other, and he needs references. And so he says, basically, who do I list as a reference? Basically, and I would say a family member is always
Right.
good, or like a best friend or a cousin or
For
something
sure.
like that. And the other thing is that, I think that you really have to be careful about loan consolidation because if you do it incorrectly and you end up with higher payments for some reason, that is really going to screw you. You've got to look at how much you're paying. Don't do it just because it's easier to have one company.
Right.
Do it because every single month the payment will be lower. If it's going up at all, I would never do it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. And if you have a variable rate and you're trying to lock in low rates, that's another reason to do it.
And you're still a big believer that this will be our next undoing.
I don't know if it'll be our next undoing. I just think I think you have to be very careful with student loan debt.
Right.
I really do. And I think that people are being a little nutty with the amount of student loans they take on, given that we know that it's a weak labor market and people aren't making that much money.
Yeah.
I interviewed this guy and he's got a great website. Anyone who's looking for student loan information, finaid.org. I think it's
Okay.
.org. It might be .com, but it's finaid.something.
Okay.
And his name is Mark Kantrowitz.
Okay.
Super smart guy. He says to me, he's like, look, don't take out more loans in total than you'll be making your first year out of college. That's kind of an interesting thing to
For
think
sure.
about, right?
Yeah,
So you're going
absolutely.
to come out of college and you're going to make it. You'll have a job. Hopefully, you make 30 grand.
Right.
He's saying don't take a job for don't take out loans more than 30 grand,
Right, makes sense.
right? If you can't get that because it's going to take you so long.
You're already underwater, starting
Yep.
out of the gate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'd be very careful with that. Yes.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Lou asks,
Mm-hmm.
American Express and Discover do not charge over the limit fees. So he wants to know, if you go over the limit on your card, does it hurt your credit? Yes, but only if the company reports it. So
How can you know?
yeah, you got to pull your credit report.
Okay.
Annualcreditreport.com. You should pull that basically at least once a year, maybe twice a year if you really
Right.
want to make sure there's nothing funky on there.
Okay.
And he said, I read somewhere that you're not technically over the limit until the end of the billing cycle. Is that true? It depends on the credit card. Some credit cards used to do it mid-cycle,
Right.
and now I believe it's all end of cycle. We're talking a lot about cycles.
We are talking about
I'm getting a cramp right now.
Oh, that's messed up. I have such a problem with some of the credit card legalities and
It's
technicalities.
baloney, right?
They still. I know there's been this whole wave of reform that's gone over them.
Yeah, the Card Act.
But they're still not as transparent as I would like. And I feel like maybe that's just a company by company situation where it'd be nice if they really just presented information to you in a digestible, easier to understand matter.
Yeah.
But I still feel like they are doing something to deliberately confuse you.
Yeah, I think that there's two parts of it. One is that the Card Act has made it clearer about what you're paying and when
Right.
things are due. The problem is that these credit card companies have bunches of lawyers who are saying, if we don't put all the gobbledygook in there,
We're not going to make any money.
no, not so much we're not going to make money. Someone's going to sue us.
Oh, okay.
And that's why there is so much gobbledygook. That is, if you really want to talk to someone about this, talk to like a lawyer sometime, and they'll tell you about all the times they get sued.
Right.
And the answer to this, to preventing lawsuits, is you disclose everything. Here's what's happening.
Right.
And if you don't read it, tough luck, right?
Yeah.
One other question that Lou asks about the Chase Blueprint Full Pay Program. He says they're saying that the user can avoid paying interest if they pay the balance of selected categories in full, even if you carry a balance. Isn't that part of that always the case? The answer is no, that is not always the case. In other words, this is a slightly different kind of credit card because it gives you a little more flexibility and say, I always know I pay those things, but if I have extra things over here that I don't pay, I don't want to get paid. I don't want to have to pay interest on them.
Okay.
Most credit cards don't do that. They say, you're over, screw
that's
it, and
that.
you pay that.
Huh.
You want to hear this really depressing one?
Oh, man. Are we going to get Bummerville
Stephanie.
right now?
Okay.
Oh, God.
But she's awfully nice.
At least she keeps her head up.
I think just every mistake one can make, I think we made.
Oh, gee.
That's not.
I'm
That's
gonna-
how she starts it off?
That's how she starts. 50 years
Steph.
old. My husband is self-employed. I was also self-employed part-time as I raised 2 children for 18 years. My son's out of the house. My daughter's in junior high school. No savings, no college fund, no 401k, no other retirement.
Oh, dear.
We owe $24,000 in back taxes to the IRS.
Back taxes.
That's bad.
That's bad.
Because IRS always knows where to find you. We were counting on our home as retirement. We have 3 acres. My 80-year-old parents built a home we're living in. We have a lot of equity in the house. So that's the
Okay.
good news.
There's some value.
But my folks have money into it, which we need to reimburse them for.
Don't pay your family back.
Exactly. Screw them. They're
That's
looking at.
rule one.
So this is it. She says we're looking at foreclosure. If we sold now, there would be no money left after paying everyone off.
Uh-oh. So what do they do?
I was laid off. Blah blah
Rob
blah.
them.
I'm overwhelmed. This is the core issue. I am overwhelmed and I cannot see any way out.
Oh, this is
So
sad.
here's what I want to tell you. There's a lot of people out here who are like that, and they probably aren't listening to the show. But maybe you know people, and you really do feel alone.
And you're worried about them.
And I do worry about them. I worry about them because I feel like someone wagging their finger at you is not going to really make it better.
Yeah.
So what I want to suggest is this: that there are certain instances where declaring bankruptcy actually really does make sense. And I know that seems very antithetical to the American way, but you know what? It's a way to say I have screwed up, I have made mistakes, and I need to start over.
Right.
Because this woman is 50 years old, and she and her husband need a second chance.
For sure.
And I think that's why you go through a bankruptcy. I happen to know a woman who's 50 years old. She just went through bankruptcy. It's awful. It's painful. She has nothing. Zero. She's 50 years old. She's got nothing.
That's crazy.
And so what it does is it gets everyone off your back
Right.
so that you can start and you can move
But is that a
forward.
problem, though, in the bigger picture?
Well, I
Giving
don't
people
think-
like a free pass?
Well, I don't think so because I think that it's part of the legal system in the United States.
Right.
We've always done it. You know, you can't do it
and
in
you
Europe.
think there should still be
I
a
do
ba-
think
yeah.
so because I think bad things do happen to people. I
course.
think that there are people who really blow it and they are stupid, okay, and they do bad things.
Yeah.
But there's most of the people who get into big trouble. It's not because they're trying to game the system. It's
Right.
like, you know, I had a job, I lost my job.
Right.
I was trying to get my kid through school, I borrowed against the house. I did this, I did this. My mother got sick, my husband got
Mistakes
sick.
were made. You
Things
can't control
happen.
some events in life.
And so don't be afraid to say, you know what, this was so hard. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
so where do
And,
they go from nothing, though?
From nothing, you go, you say, I have a job.
Right.
You basically decide whether
over.
you start over. You figure out whether you're going to lose your house or not. You rent. And, you know, luckily, there's one of them has a job.
Right.
You know, and you have to start somewhere. And you just start. And the thing about bankruptcy is you don't get credit again. No one will extend credit for you
Right.
for about 7 years.
All right, so you earned
So
it again.
you got, exactly. But it really does make you form those habits again.
That's what's good about paying taxes every year. Even though I don't,
You are
keep
such
a
an
lot
American.
Of, I am. Even though there's no good thing about paying tax. I'm getting a buttload back though this year. So
Oh,
good.
I told you I don't like that.
Why?
Because you have lent the government
Yeah, but
money
I
for
understand
0%.
what you're saying. But I asked my accountant, and he said no, I wouldn't change anything in the way.
All right. Well,
you know.
how much? Well, we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk
after.
about that. Before I'm saying that it puts me into good habits for what 3-4 weeks, and then
Yes.
I go back to the old
Right,
Jeff. Yeah.
right. That's good.
We didn't answer the Twitter question about student loans that he's a teacher now.
So
How can,
yes, he can do that. Sometimes when in some institutions, you're in forbearance, so you got to go. He's got to go. Is he trying to take out student loans?
I
Or
think
is
he's trying to pay them off, and is he want to know if there's a better way to pay them off after now that he is a teacher.
Well, I mean, it depends where you are. Some places actually will help you with that, depending on where you go. Some places will help pay off student loans. Some private schools will actually say, hey, you come here, you're not part of the pension system, but we'll help you pay off your loans.
So it varies by employer.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is you can check out loan consolidation. But the best thing you can do with any debt, whether it's student loan, credit card, is to do what Justin and I were talking about. Like go to mint.com, get some sort of tracking software or whatever. Just put on a legal pad,
Yeah.
figure out how much you're spending, set aside a dollar amount every single month and say, this is how it's going to go down. And I'm going to have to deprive myself a little bit, but you got an education, which
For
is
sure.
pretty awesome,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So one thing that's kind of wild about student loans, it's like impossible to default on them. In other words, you can declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Student loans don't get released in bankruptcy.
Oh, okay. So you're still tethered to that.
Yeah, because it's a federal program. It's
Gotcha.
like, the IRS does not release you from liens.
Right. Interesting. All right. A lot of good information today. as
Man, and we
always.
have just covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we went 50 minutes. That's
Oh, my
long.
God.
And that's good
I'm
because we can
starving.
do that. Maybe we'll go and not have lunch.
I know. At Jill on Money.
There you go. Follow
forget.
Jill. Where
And,
else can we find you?
You can go to moneywatch.com and you can read my blog. And I write about more things than the lottery, which is kind of good.
I
How
feel
many?
like-
How many are there, Justin?
You have
57.
5,788 right now.
It's a lot, Jill. You're
I
getting
need
up there.
212.
All right.
We need more Twitter followers.
Yeah, we need
Richard,
more, too.
you
Please.
could put up 212 different profiles and just follow me, is what you could do.
That sounds fair.
I mean, it's the least you could do. You didn't warn me about LinkedIn,
I'll do it. I'll start
right?
setting up
Does he not
He has
know
all
us?
the information
I
on
am
the
now
whole time.
perceived as a crazy stalker by somebody.
Yeah, that's all right.
This is horrible.
Well, at least now they get to know you.
Exactly.
That's
I'm
gonna,
here.
That's going to do it for us. You'll be back soon, right?
Yeah, we're going to plan it right now.
All right, cool. Tomorrow, Scott Stein. Friday, Morgan Spurlock.
Yeah.
Next week, Wayne Brady's back.
Ooh.
We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Jeff Aguilar.
And I'm Justin Yu.
It's the 404 High Tech Low Brow. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.